just follow me around. Zoom in with this. Okay?
The
Raise your hand
mountains
for the
or the beach? Toastmaster Kelly Betty.
Follow her. She's the two.
Right now, my daughter loves the song, I Love the Mountains. You know it? I love the mountains. I love the rolling hills. No one?
No.
Well, it's stuck in my head constantly. The mountains or the beach. I grew up in Clearwater, Florida, always wanting to go see the mountains because I was at the beach. I moved to California, the Bay Area, full of mountains. And where did I come back? To Florida, to the beach. Where do I want to go now? Back to the mountains. Thank you.
Full-time or part-time? Toastmaster Zai
Well, in my career, I have always been working full-time. And my wishes is that I could work part-time so I can have my own life, and also I can, I'm still in the job market, so I can still have work. So, but I don't have the luxury to work part-time because I need the full-time income to support my family. So, but one day when I'm financially free, I really enjoy part-time, and so I can do what I want, and then still I can work.
Very good.
Phone call or text? DTM Roy Shear.
Hold tight.
Pigeons.
Take your time.
Smoke signals.
That was text or telephone?
Yes.
I see. I'm feeling a little sluggish today, so I'm not firing at my usual speed. My generation is still doing smoke signals. So all of this is pretty advanced. No, I don't like texting at all. Not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I usually let my messages and my texts and so on pile up for sometimes months at a time. Somebody says, if I see the bridge, Roy, did you get my text? No, what did you have to say? And then they tell me, generally. And if somebody keeps texting me, I pick up the phone and say, what is it we should talk about? I'd rather hear your voice, the tone, the intonations, learn something about you. Then they hang up and send another text. Telephone, for sure.
Comedy or drama? Toastmaster Sean Tucker.
Comedy wins. Comedy makes everything better. Comedy are the best movies, and Hollywood has honestly forgotten how to do comedy. They don't do it right anymore. At some point in the 90s, and I blame Seth Rogen, the comedy went from being a little edgy to being profane. They went to nasty without the humor. Being nasty with a little humor is great. Being just nasty isn't funny, and that's what comedy is today.
Yeah.
Old comedy, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, they were edgy. They had edgy parts to them. They were hysterical. They offended everyone equally, and they were funny. I don't know why Hollywood struggles so hard with that. And the only thing they struggle harder with is romantic comedy. For God's sakes, it's not that hard to write a romantic comedy. There are piles of movies you could copy the plot and just redo it over again, and they struggle with it. But anyway, comedy wins every time.
All right. Good luck.
Walking or running? Toastmaster Emma Jones.
As you all know, I grew up a swimmer. I was a distance swimmer, endurance, and the typical pathway for any swimmer outside of college is to become a runner, which is exactly what I did. Although I started swimming because I have really bad joints, really, really bad, and so obviously that's a no-impact sport, and so I thought when I graduated, how can I not remain so sluggish and continue to keep my athleticism high. So I figured out a way to run while still being good on my joints. And the solution to that was to always warm up on a stair stepper, get my knees warmed up, stretch a little bit, do a good run, and then recovery is key. So I've been really enjoying the hot cold plunge at the gym, the sauna, and so now I am a big runner. I did a half marathon last year.
Wow.
Southern barbecue or Texas barbecue? DTM, please.
Legs,
Oh, mercy. Oh, mercy. You know, a lot of people would think that it's a tough decision, Texas barbecue or Southern barbecue. Okay, so first off, Southern barbecue is proper barbecue.
Yes.
It is proper barbecue. But that is not to say that the others are wrong. They're just not as good. But I had the opportunity 2 years ago to do 2 tours of Texas barbecue. I went to Austin, I went to Terry Black's, I went to Heim's Barbecue outside of Dallas. I had bacon burnt ends. Dang, gum, that was good. I mean, to tell you, that was like eating candy at Easter. And Black's Barbecue with a mixture of jalapeno and cheese with the homemade sausage. Holy cow. I mean, if you didn't know, we're going to bring Tim Linger down there to Texas to teach him some of the barbecue techniques, and he's going to be putting on a spread out there. He's going to do away with the Hampton Inn, and he's going with a barbecue spread. You know what? There is no bad barbecue. It's just some's better than others. But you come to my house, baby, it's going to be Southern.
East Coast or West Coast? Toastmaster Jolene, Texter.
Jolene.
I'm happy to be here this morning. It's been a while. I'm happy that I did not wake up feeling sluggish, so I made it. And to the question, East Coast or West Coast, I would, that's a tough one because West Coast, I love the weather. I love that it's usually cool in the 50s, 60s, 70s. That's like my favorite. And then here, it's just, the summers are kind of brutal. So weather-wise, I prefer the West Coast, but East Coast, I love your community. All my friends are here, and as an adult, it's harder to build community when you move out. As I have discovered when I have moved to the West Coast a couple years ago. I lived in Los Angeles for 2 years. So for community purposes, I prefer the East Coast. Thank you.
Football or soccer? Toastmaster Wardbrook.
I'm definitely all for soccer. My wife is a football fan. The only sport I watch is the World Cup every 4 years because the best soccer players in the world represent their nation. It used to be that college football, and I have watched my share of SEC just as an LSU alumni. My wife loves following LSU. However, the trade-offs currently make watching college football very sluggish because once you get attached to a player, chances are they'll be on another team the following season, which basically turns it into a vacuum kind of a spectator sport. Whereas World Cup, even though they're playing on other teams throughout their years, when it comes time for that tournament, they're no longer sluggish. They step up, and I really love Allez les Bleus, the French soccer team, because the momentum behind them is wonderful. Thank you.
Ocean or the lake? DTM Carson Schaefer.
What or the lake?
The ocean or the lake?
Ocean.
That's not even a question. The ocean. I will say that my spirit animal is the common garden slug. And like Emma, I warmed up my joints, but that was when I lived up north and it was cold. The ocean. I grew up on a boat on the Chesapeake Bay, which was kind of split between both.
Were you going to the hospital?
And I was in the Air Force, and I got on a DC-3, and I flew to my parents' new house in the Florida Keys. I'd never even heard of the Florida Keys. And I'm in this plane that actually I learned what yaw was for the first time in my life, big prop plane, wah, wah, wah. And it was like National Geographic looking down. And it was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. I ended up being a dive instructor later down there. We lived there for 38 years. But when I landed on this beautiful island paradise, and I went to my parents' house and I said, I live here now? And they said, no, you live at Dover Air Force Base, we live here.
Cruising or resorting?
That was true.
I call it. Toastmaster Karen Schwartz.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Cruising or resorting? So actually, I used to work on a cruise ship for about 3 years.
Wow. Wow.
I worked with kids in the youth center. So if I had to choose between cruising and resorting, I would choose cruising, so I could enjoy the perks of the guests that I would see when I would cruise. I think it's a great way to see different places if you're maybe not sure where you want to go. So you want to go see Europe, but you're kind of torn between, Spain or Italy or some of the other coastal countries. So you can go and kind of get a little bit of a taste, and then you can go back. So I would choose cruising for the experiences and the service that you can get, because I promise you, cruise ships are cleaner than hotels. After working in hospitality too. So I would choose cruising.
Trains or planes? DTM Ty Patton. Trains or planes?
Train and plane?
Hello, Toastmasters. So was I, Adam Toastmaster. Tabletop. Planes or trains? You ever watch that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Yeah. Oh, wow. Talk about humor. That was good humor.
Yeah.
And I love all sorts of travel, other than maybe bicycling. That's not my thing. But anything else, I've hitchhiked, I've driven, I've flown, I've done just about everything but cruising. And there's one cruise that I would love to go on, and that's where it costs about $18,000, and it's a golf cruise. And you visit a hole in various different countries. You play that hole, you get back on the ship, and you have a wonderful, lavish dinner meal, and you just make the best of it. And you wake up the next morning and you're in a port of another country. You get to see that culture. You get to absorb everything that those people are doing, and yet you're traveling, you're enjoying sports, you're getting exercise. Plenty of food.
Horror or science fiction? Toastmaster Mark Englers.
Pardon?
Horror or science fiction? Horror.
Horror?
I'd say science fiction for sure. And the truth is, I don't care for either of them. But I think I'd rather see science fiction. What I'd really like to see is a good drama film, or like Sean was saying, please bring back some comedy films, finally, because it's getting pretty boring. But that's my story, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Havarti or cheddar? Toastmaster Carlos.
Havarti or cheddar? Nacho cheese is what it's all about.
I like this word sluggish for today, moving slowly and apathetic. That's not me. Workaholic, that's what it says on this name tag. burning both candles at the end of the wick. At the end of the candle.
Got that, Sean?
Oh, thank you.
I got it.
But I want to bring up a different subject because I only have a couple minutes. Today is Friday the 13th. No one mentioned that. Good luck, bad luck. Friday the 13th was very good to me. My son was born on Friday the 13th. I got my job at UPS on Friday the 13th.
Great.
What else can I say other than, go Bills, baby!
Chicken or beef? Toastmaster Benjamin Arudia.
Beef, chicken or beef?
Chicken or beef?
Oh, yeah.
Or pork?
Okay. Someone here gave me the alternative of pork. But I think that it depends. I have learned that from the authorities. Anytime that you're hungry, you can have chicken, beef, anything, as long as it is tasty and it comes from a good cook. We all agree that anything that is well cooked is delicious. And this is what we want, we like. When we see a plate that is appealing, we are not sluggish in sitting down and eating everything. So that coming here, it's good. It's like a place. And all these nice looking people in green beef.
Witch or wizard? Toastmaster Therese Mavet. Witch or wizard?
I want to be a witch and transform lives, baby. Good morning, it's a great day to be grateful. I felt sluggish this morning somehow, but I got here, the energy. And I was walking like this, like a Michael Jackson thing this morning. I can't move. I went to bed at 2 a.m. I have no idea how I did it. But I guess sometimes you just gotta be that witch. And you wake up and you tell yourself, I promised myself this is what I'm going to do. I told my alarm, wake me up at this time, I'm going to do it and be that witch and execute. Thank you. What was the timing? What's
Rainforest or the beach? DTM Jordan Kamiger.
Rainforest or the beach. I grew up in Venice, Florida. I lived a block from the beach. Venice, Florida is the only place in this quadrant of the galaxy where fossilized shark's teeth wash up. I had a couple hundred by the time I was done with 6th grade. Cool. And so when I went to Europe to meet Brigitte, who I had met years before on the beach, and she meets me at the train because she was in Spain, and we're walking along the beach, Brigitte and I, and she goes, yeah. She said, you see that building over there? I go, yeah. She goes, that is where I'm staying. I go, whoa, Brigitte, that's a pretty fancy place. She goes, yeah, with my boyfriend, Leonard. Well, why didn't you tell me? I mean, I came all of 5,000 miles. She goes, then you would not have come. I go, oh, well. So I left the beach. 6 weeks became 6 months. I went from Arctic Norway to southern India. I'll take a rainforest.
Anyone?
Back there.
The Midwest or Mexico? Toastmaster. Oh, you have thought of the day? Did I miss anyone?
Jeff Hood.
Jeff Hood. Staycation or vacation? Toastmaster Jeff Hood.
Staycation or vacation? If staycation is in Florida, I'm staying in Florida. But I will head south. There's a little place called the Florida Keys.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple little islands down there. There's one somewhat in the middle that they call Alvarado. If you haven't been there, you really ought to put it on your list. Because what I say to others, if you ever want to go to another island, you can go to Alvarado and never have to leave the state. There's so much to do there. The water is crystal clear, there's boating, there's fishing, you can windsurf, can't surfboard surf because we don't have a lot of waves down in that area, but there just is so much that you can do in Alvarado and in Florida.
Frozen or on the rocks? Toastmaster takeout.
Frozen on the rock. You know, who used to go to 7-Eleven when they were a kid and drink a Slurpee?
Oh, yeah.
Red Slurpee. It turned your whole tongue red, turned your mouth red. And I would just love that thing. I began cutting yards. My brothers and I cut yards at 8 years old. My dad made us go out in the summer and cut yards. Because he grew up on a farm and he was determined we were going to learn how to work. So literally at 8 or 9 years old, sometimes I would cut 3 yards a day. 3 yards a day. And he got us a riding lawnmower. And he made us make payments on the riding lawnmower. I think this is why I'm a businessman today. I never saw a dime of that money because everything we made went to make the payments on the lawnmower. It was a lot of fun. But, what was it again? I'm sorry. So I'd go to 7-Eleven and I'd go in there and who grabbed the Slurpee and just started downing it. And what happens next? Enormous brain freeze. I learned if you put your thumb on the roof of your mouth really hard, it starts waning a little bit. This is why I don't drink daiquiris, because they're frozen. I take 3 sips and I remember 7-Eleven, I remember the Slurpee, and I get an incredible headache. So on the rocks is the only way to go. A smoked old fashioned, my friends, is the next best thing to happen. So thank you very much.
Dog or cat? Toastmaster Eugene?
They both taste great.
Okay, we're done. Sorry. Okay, everyone, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful Friday the 13th. Oh, sorry. Did everybody qualify?
443.
Eugene.
Yes, everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Vote for 2.